Greyhawk Grognard here. If you like the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified. You know, all that other good stuff that all the channels say. And feel free to visit my blog and my Patreon. Links are down below. Now, enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Tonight I just wanted to do a quick one. I wanted to cover my top 3 adventures in Greyhawk from the classic era of TSR when Gary was still at the company. So, my top 3. This is number 3. Not because of the adventure itself. The adventure itself is kind of meh, honestly. The wilderness adventure is tacked on and seems extraneous. The dungeon is a very typical dungeon crawl and in very Gygaxian style. It has all the interesting stuff on the lower level is only accessible through a single secret door that you have to really know where it is or use magic to find or something. So it's really it's not good, all that good as an adventure unto itself. What makes this really good in terms of the world of Greyhawk, however, is the background that goes with it. There's a lot of stuff that neatly fits in to the timeline that we know before and after this module was published in terms of Ayuz and Igwilv. It really fleshes out things that happened in Perrinland and the Yaddle Mountains, and it plugs into Ayuz's timeline in terms of his beginning of his empire. It's just, in that sense, it's really a great addition to the canonical timeline that we have. In addition, when this first came out, this book has a lot of stuff in it that was kind of a preview of the Unearthed Arcana and the Monster Manual 2. In terms of a lot of the creatures and the extraplanar demons and stuff like that. So in that sense, it's a really nice addition to the canon. Now, number 2 on my list is right here. Vault of the Drow is one of my favorite modules. However, what keeps it out of the top spot is the fact that it suffers from an excess of Gygaxian brevity. The entire plot of all 6 modules of the Giants and Drow series is actually explained in a single sentence that is buried in the middle of this book. It doesn't lay things out nearly clearly enough for the Dungeon Master in terms of why are the PCs there, what is expected of them to do. It gives a lot of broad strokes and finicky details, but it doesn't really bridge the gap and give the DM any kind of clear idea of what to do with this module. It really relies too heavily on the DM's initiative, and at the time, I think it was it wasn't really up to its potential because of that. Now, number 1 in my list is, oh good lord, no. Number 1 in my list is Village of Hamlet. And I deliberately choose Village of Hamlet rather than Temple of Elemental Evil T1 through 4. Because when it came out, and this is no disparagement on Frank Metzer, who wrote it based on Gary's notes, but it didn't really work. It was something of a letdown. Some of that probably has a lot to do with the fact that we were waiting for it for so long. But it was also kind of clunky and bloated almost. It doesn't live up to the wonderful potential that's in this module. And what makes this module really cool is you have the perfect starting area for a new party. It's got the village, which is enormously well detailed. It has a lot of great NPCs, all very well sketched out. But even better, it gives you a real sense of there's plots going on, and it's linked to the history of Greyhawk specifically. It really ties itself into the setting in a way that a lot of modules, even those explicitly set in Greyhawk, don't. You really get a sense of, Verbabank is in there, and Valuna, and the personages involved. It really matters, and there's spies from the temple, and the history is really woven into this and really matters in terms of the module itself. There's also a great little dungeon crawl in the moat house, and you have Lareth the Beautiful, which is one of the most famous NPCs out there. It's just a wonderful little module. I've run it like 6 or 7 times, just this module. It's a great starting point for a D&D group, and that's why it gets the top spot. And of course, I've written about it on the blog like a zillion times. So, well, that's my top 3. Let me know in the comments what your top 3 would be from that era, the 1985 and before era, in terms of adventure modules. And have a great evening.